Hey guys, dang old nerd. That's my daily morning routine. I usually wake up like 4 in the morning. Um, I come down to my man cave down here. Yeah, just the room behind the garage, and this is where I've been working for the past 9 months. And then I get up so early because I teach English as a foreign language to some students in Korea. So when it's 5 a.m. for me, it's 8 p.m. the next day for my students in Korea. So yeah, that's part of my daily routine. Come downstairs, get my computer all set up, and then eat my breakfast, drink some coffee, and then I do about 10 dry fire draws. Practice, getting that muscle memory, getting that finger on the light. I do about 10 every morning. I think just the repetition will be enough for that. And then by that time, the Olight PL Mini 2, it tends to get hot. So that's why I just limited to 10 reps. So let's see, today, I thought I would ruminate a little bit about my Sig Sauer P320 RXP Xcompact. Okay. I had a question from a viewer on one of my other videos about the Tier 1 Concealed Access Elite holster that I modified. And the question was, would my gun still retain in that holster without the gas pedal? And so I never really thought about that, so I thought, why not test it? So I'm gonna kind of break it down and then swap out the slide stop, and then we'll see. And then I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit about my Sig Sauer P320, my experience and impressions of it. Okay, so here we are. I got the weapon cleared. I got the original slide lock lever. You can see that it doesn't have much wear on it because I pretty much immediately changed it out when I got the gas pedal. So with the slide lock to the rear, we just turn the gas pedal, and then that will release our slide, and then just pull that one out. Let's see, and then so this is the gas pedal. You can see some wear on the finish. That's not from the holster or anything. It was just a mod that I made because it originally, it had, if you know what a gas pedal looks like, it's got a bunch of, I don't know, knobs or knurls on there to kind of give you some grip, but I wanted more grip, if you can imagine that. So I got like a 5x7 sheet of the Talon grips. It's like a grip tape, and then I put that on there. But then when I took it to the range, with all the recoil, it would just slide off. And so I determined that it's probably because of all the knurls, that doesn't have enough contact for the adhesive to stick. So what I did was I took some Gorilla Glue, and then I filled in, I put a liberal amount of glue on there, and it just kind of filled in all the gaps between the knurls. And then with Gorilla Glue, once it dries and it hardens, it's like an epoxy. It hardens and it expands. So I had some runoff, and I took the Dremel grinder or sandpaper and had to grind off the excess and on the side too. So that's where the paint got removed. And then I've tried repainting it with some like barbecue, flat black barbecue paint, but it still wears off. So yeah, that's what I did. I filled in all the gaps with that Gorilla Glue, and then sanded it smooth so it becomes kind of a solid surface. And then I think that gives the talon grip a little bit, more contact or surface area. And so far it's been working. It stays on there now. So that's what I did. For the kind of the blemish, I have like the black paint markers. They're like a flat black paint marker, but yeah, it comes off. So I really don't care that much about it. Once in a while I'll do it, but that's just superficial. So, okay, let's get back to my original intent here. So this is the original slide release or slide lock. Put that back in the gap. Pop that in, and then you got to get it so it's level, so for the slide to go through. Okay, and let's put the slide back on. It's hard to kind of do this while looking through my phone. But okay, there, that's in place. Okay, it works. All right, so let's see how this works. So you can see that the huge gap where the gas pedal would go through, but it stays in there. It's about the same retention, so the retention is on this light. So it works without the gas pedal. So if you ever feel like just modding it to fit the gas pedal and then you decide to switch out, then the holster will still work. Okay, so that answers that question. And you can see I still have my Romeo 1 tool on there, and it's been working. And so yeah, that's good. Okay guys, this is the part where I ruminate about my experience with this P320. So I've been a new gun owner for about 6 months, and I just never felt the need to have a handgun. I've 30 years of my adult life, I've never felt threatened or felt the need to have one. Well, I take that one time. This is back in probably 2009. I had just completed a bone marrow transplant for treatment for my leukemia, and my wife and I were living in a hospital apartment, basically in isolation because of my immune system. And once I recovered enough where I could go out, had to mask up and everything, my wife and I decided to go to a local kind of grocery store, kind of like a Walmart. This is in Detroit, Michigan. I was at the Carmano's Cancer Institute, but my wife was driving and I was navigating using the old Garmin navigation, and it told us to go down this street, and it was kind of eerie. It was dusk, no cars on the streets. It looks like Gotham City or something, from the Batman movies. Tall buildings, overcast, shadowy, no cars. And then we get to an intersection and we're supposed to go straight, but straight ahead, all you see are like trash cans burning and young black men running around the streets. And that, I told my wife, turn right now. And we just, got the hell out of there. So I think that was probably the only time I've ever, felt threatened. But recently, with all the, turmoil in our society, and the pandemic, so that got me to thinking, because I'm old and feeble now, and I couldn't defend myself or my wife. I wouldn't be able to fight my way or run away from any type of situation. So that's when I decided, I should probably arm myself just for protection. And I live in Texas now, but for the past 6 years, and I figure probably every third person I come across is probably packing. So I'm fortunate to live in a great country where, we still have a right to, defend ourselves by any means necessary. And so I think this is just a tool that allows me to defend myself or my family. Okay, that rant over. So yeah, I started researching for my first gun, and I came across this one, the P320 RXP Xcompact, and I fell in love with it. It's just, being, superficial, this is just one sexy gun. But I really couldn't justify spending $900 on a gun. You're looking at guitar money there. So I went back and I started looking at Glocks, of course, and then Smith & Wesson. And then I narrowed down to those two, and then I went to my range and I rented a Glock 19 and then Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Compact. Tried both of them out. They both shot equally well, or in my case, equally mediocre. But I like the Smith & Wesson. I just like the grip, just the whole grip and the feel of it. And it was a couple $100 cheaper, so I decided to go with the M&P 9. I found the M&P 9. It was the 4 1/4 one that I eventually bought, and I figured it's just, just a 1/4 of an inch difference in the length of the slide. And so yeah, but it was like $30 cheaper than the compact version, so I went with that one. I didn't realize at the time that it also, it's super important in the length of the grip as far as concealability. So being a new, first time gun buyer, I didn't realize that would be an issue. But anyways, I love that gun. It was a great first gun. But then I started putting on upgrades. I got some Spartan, the Ameriglow Spartan night sights, which are great. That was like $80. And then I started researching new triggers. I wanted a new trigger because like the Smith has a lot of, it has a lot of play in it before you get to that wall. So I was looking at a new trigger, probably another couple $100. And then with my poor eyesight, I started, seeing videos about the red dot sights. So yeah, that would help me, with my vision problems. So you're looking at milling out the slide, getting a optic, probably another $300 for the optic, $300 for maybe getting a slide milled. Then I'd probably have to get, taller sights, the suppressor height sights. So you're looking at $800 or so. And I was like, why didn't I just buy this gun in the first place? And then, so that's kind of motivated me to look for that. I went online and I found, I don't know, I think I got lucky because I just looked online one time and I found it. It was that Sportsman's Guide. Here's the receipt for that. It cost me $950, basically. And then so I got it kind of middle of October, and then I took it to the range. I shot about 100 rounds through it. I wanted to zero the red dot. I had no idea what I was doing. I watched some videos on YouTube about how to do it, but they're talking about shooting at 25 yards. I can barely see the bullseye at 25 yards with my eyesight, right? So I don't know. I tried it. I fired about 100 rounds through it, but I had some issues with this gun at first. It was like every magazine, at least once or twice, it would fail to return into battery, and you had to pound the back, and then that was kind of discerning a little bit. So I shot 100 rounds. I tried to zero the red dot. I have no idea what I was doing, but so yeah, and then I took it back home. I cleaned it before I went to the range and oiled it up, and then so I cleaned it up again. But then it would be like every time I pull it back, and you could hear the metal grinding, like right about here. You could hear it. It was like, it was not normal. And then the slide catch, the release was really, really tight too. It was hard to release the slide. So I called Sig customer service, and then the young man I talked to on the phone, he was trying to tell me that Sigs are built to such tight, tolerances that it takes about 400 rounds for the gun to break in. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I called bullshit on that. And I told him, I gave him an example, like, Lexus automobiles, they're built to higher tolerances than the Toyota, but you don't expect to slam the door 400 times for it to break in. So we went around a little bit. Finally, he relented, and he sent me a return authorization. So I put it back in the case, put it in the box that it came in, and took it to UPS. And then 2 days later, they received it. And then exactly on the day that they received it, I got a notice that it was coming back. So this was what they sent me. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but evaluate customer cleaned pistol before taking out to shoot, having many failure to return to battery issues, shot about 100 rounds through of Browning FMJ 124 grain, used Hoppy's 9 for cleaner, also not happy with the stiffness of the slide control lever. Okay, and then so they received it October 29th, and then they returned it on the exact same day. So this is what the gunsmith commented. Inspected the pistol, replaced striker assembly, adjusted slide catch lever notch on the slide. Function tested, test fired for function, and meets factory specs. So yeah, I get it back a couple of days later and took it to the range again, and it shot beautifully. No issues whatsoever. None of that, metal on metal grinding sound. And the cool part is I have a sinking suspicion that that the armor or the tech zeroed my red dot for me, because like I used the red dot at 25 yards, and I was getting for me it's hand size groups on the target. So wow, so I appreciate that. So that was pretty cool. And then they also sent this catalog with the gun. So generally very good customer service. I was pleased with that. The gun has worked beautifully since then. No issues. So yeah, that's basically my experience with this one. I should have just bought this one to begin with, but I'm glad I have the Smith too, because I use that as kind of a extra home defense and range pistol. Truthfully, I think the Smith probably I shoot better with the Smith using the iron sights, but I think the red dot really helps me, due to my whatever vision problems. But yeah, it's turned out to be a good gun. you can see I also took some more of the Talon grip tape, and I cut out a piece for the finger groove, and I cut out a piece for the back strap here. So I like that kind of. I got used to the MMP kind of that aggressive grip, and so I like it, and it's worked out really well. And then on the gas pedal too. So, and this is kind of the way I hold my gun. I don't go down here. I figure, cause like I figure like if you have a clamp on the pistol here, and then you take another clamp and you clamp the clamp, then it's just basically just that one point of I don't know, retention there. So what I do is, instead of coming up to the what is that, the trigger guard, I come up to where the light and the trigger guard meet. So I immediately come up here, and then my hand goes, it's kind of normal there, but then on the other side I grip I actually, with these two fingers, I grip the trigger well, the trigger guard. And so yeah, so look, you can see I can take my dominant hand off and I still have control over that gun. And then I put my dominant hand back in, and this is the way I hold it. It's kind of, I think it's unorthodox. I've never seen anybody else do it, but to me it just feels more comfortable, and it just makes more sense that I have more, more, I guess, contact or surface contact with the gun. And I've gotten used to it, and it's just automatic now. So yeah, great gun. Not much more I can say about it. Probably only have about 600 rounds through it, but I plan to keep shooting. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and if you have any comments, please leave them below.